There is a specific passage in the Gospel of Philip that the Church of Rome systematically erased from every authorized Bible. They didn't remove it because it was a mistranslation. They didn't remove it because it was irrelevant. They removed it because it contained a terrifyingly simple truth. It gave anyone who read it the exact method to look at their own physical body and know with absolute certainty exactly who and what they are, without a priest, without a church, without submission. But knowing your own true origin is only half of the equation. Jesus also taught his most inner circle how to recognize the others, the ones who are not like us, the entities he referred to as the Archons, beings that walk among us cloaked in human flesh, hiding perfectly as your co-workers, your neighbors, and sometimes even the people you love. Today, I am going to give you both sides of this ancient forbidden secret. I am going to reveal the 3 physical marks on your own body that confirm your divine origin, and the 3 psychological tests you can use to expose any Archon hiding in your life. By the end of this video, you will never look at a crowd of people the same way again. We all know the texts were found in the desert in 1945, but while most scholars focused on the philosophy inside those jars, they ignored the biology. The Gospel of Philip didn't just give us riddles, it gave us an anatomical map. It was a direct, unapologetic manual for escaping the matrix of the material world. You see, the Gnostics understood something fundamental that has been hidden from you since birth. They knew that the universe we live in was not created by the true, loving God, the source they called the monad. Instead, this physical realm is a flawed simulation constructed by a blind, parasitic creator known as the Demiurge and enforced by his foot soldiers, the Archons. The Archons are the architects of your suffering. They feed on low-frequency human emotions, fear, guilt, shame, and anger. But they have a massive vulnerability. They cannot create a human soul. They can only trap existing divine sparks inside physical vessels. Or they can create hollow copies, empty human shells that look, talk, and act like us, but possess no divine spark. The Church deleted this teaching because if you realize your own divine nature, you stop feeding the system. You realize you are a fragment of the ultimate creator, trapped in a temporary biological suit. And Jesus, in his most secret teachings, left us a map to verify our status, a physical map. We previously revealed the mark of the M on the palm, but the Gospel of Philip goes deeper, revealing 3 anchor points on the body where the monad connects to the physical vessel. We begin with the first physical verification, the mark of origin. If you reach up right now to the back of your neck, right where your spine meets the base of your skull, you will feel a distinct indentation. In modern anatomy, we gloss over this, but in the Apocryphon of John, another suppressed Gnostic text found alongside the Gospel of Philip, this specific location is identified as the exact entry point where the divine spark, the piece of the monad, is anchored into the physical brain. It is the tether, the silver cord. Archons do not have a divine spark, and therefore their connection to their physical vessel is purely mechanical. When a true human carrying the divine spark places their hand over this indentation at the base of their skull, they are touching the very gate of their soul. Take your hand right now. Place 2 fingers at that hollow spot at the base of your skull. Close your eyes. When you apply gentle pressure, a true divine spark will often respond. You might feel a sudden inexplicable warmth radiating down your spine. You might feel a subtle pulsing pressure that doesn't match your heartbeat. This is not just a biological reflex, this is the resonance of your soul acknowledging your awareness of it. It is the first physical proof that you are not a biological machine. You are a captive God.
But the tether is not enough. You must also possess the capacity to see through the illusion of the material world. This brings us to the second mark, the seal of second sight. Open your hand and look at the outer edge, the fleshy part between your pinky finger and your wrist. Look closely at the lines there. The Gospel of Philip speaks of the seal of the light that is granted to those who are capable of perceiving the veil of the illusion. In the ancient world, this area of the hand was considered the bridge between the physical action and the spiritual intention. It is the part of the hand used to strike, to defend, but also to rest. If you have a dominant deep crease that cuts sharply across this outer edge, ancient Gnostic mystics believed this was the physical manifestation of the monad's seal. It indicates a soul that has lived through countless cycles of the Archons' simulation and has finally developed the spiritual calluses required to break free. People with this distinct mark often share specific traits. You have probably always felt like you don't truly belong here. You look at the political systems, the pursuit of wealth, the endless cycle of consuming, and you feel a deep, exhausted detachment. You see it as a game you have no interest in playing. That feeling is not depression, it is not antisocial behavior. It is the seal of second sight manifesting in your psychology. You are seeing the matrix for what it is. The third and final physical mark is the one the Archons fear above all else. It is the mark of command, and it is located exactly in the center of your chest, directly over your sternum. Modern science calls the heart the center of the body's electromagnetic field, but the Gnostics knew it as the primary frequency emitter of the monad. When an Archon approaches a true human, they do not see a physical body. They see a battery. They see a source of energy they can agitate and consume. But when a true human activates the mark of command, that energy stops being food and becomes a weapon. It becomes a frequency so high, so piercing, that low-density entities cannot remain in its presence. Place the palm of your right hand flat against the center of your chest right now. Press firmly against the bone. Take a deep breath in, hold it for 3 seconds, and release. Do you feel that subtle vibration? That is not just breath, that is the resonance chamber of your divine spark. The Gospel of Philip implies that true humans do not need to pray to be saved. Prayer, in the traditional sense, is often intercepted by the Archons who masquerade as gods. Instead, true humans make declarations. When you place your hand on the mark of command, you do not ask for protection, you state your authority. You speak from the monad. This is why the Church had to hide this text. A population that begs for salvation is controllable. A population that commands its reality is unstoppable. Now you have the tools to know who you are. The base of the skull, the edge of the hand, the center of the chest. If you feel the resonance, if you carry the marks, your origin is divine. You are a piece of the ultimate source, currently navigating a biological simulation. But this profound realization brings us to a terrifying crossroad. What happens when you wake up and you realize that the people around you are still asleep? Or worse, what happens when you look closely at your coworker who constantly drains your energy, the friend who always creates chaos, or the family member who seems entirely devoid of empathy, and you realize they aren't asleep at all? What if they simply aren't human? Jesus warned his disciples that the Archons do not just exist in the ethereal planes. They walk among us. They incarnate into physical vessels. They perfectly mimic human behavior, human speech, and human routines. But they are empty. They are hollow programs designed by the Demiurge to keep the frequency of the earth low, to keep the true humans trapped in cycles of fear, trauma, and conflict. You cannot spot an Archon by looking at their physical face. You must test their spirit. You must look for the glitches in their programming. And the Gnostics left us 3 highly specific psychological tests to expose them.
The first method to expose an entity masquerading as a human is the love test. Archons are highly intelligent. They can mimic sadness. They can mimic anger. In fact, they excel at anger because it is a low-frequency emotion they feed on. But there is one frequency they absolutely cannot generate, and they cannot convincingly fake. The ancient Greeks called it agape, unconditional, profound spiritual love. To test someone you suspect is an Archon, wait until you are in a casual, relaxed environment. Look them directly in the eyes and ask them a very simple question. What do you truly love? Do not ask who they love, ask what they love. A true human, even a deeply damaged one, will access their emotional center. Their eyes will soften. They might talk about the feeling of the sun on their face, the sound of their child laughing, the peace of a quiet morning, or a deep passion for creating art. They will describe an experience, a feeling of connection to something greater than themselves. Watch the suspected Archon's reaction. Because they do not have a divine spark, they cannot process agape. When you ask them what they truly love, their programming will glitch. They will exhibit one of 3 distinct reactions. Reaction 1, they will deflect. They will laugh it off, call the question stupid, or immediately change the subject to avoid the discomfort of their own emptiness. Reaction 2, they will list material objects or concepts of power. They will say they love their car, their status, money, or winning arguments. They mistake possession for love. Reaction 3, they will become inexplicably angry. Your question forces them to look at the void inside themselves, and the resulting cognitive dissonance manifests as immediate hostility toward you. If the love test leaves you suspicious, you move to the second verification, the memory test. The core belief of Gnosticism is that our souls did not originate in this physical universe. We came from the Pleroma, the realm of pure light, totality, and infinite love. When a true human soul is thrust into this physical matrix, it experiences trauma. It forgets its origin, but it never completely loses the feeling of homesickness. Every true human, no matter how lost they are in the material world, carries a vague, haunting nostalgia for a home they cannot remember, a feeling that they belong somewhere else. Archons do not have this nostalgia. The material world, the matrix created by the Demiurge, is their only home. It is all they know. Bring up the concept of existence before birth. Ask them casually, do you ever get the feeling that we were somewhere else before we came here? Do you ever feel like this world isn't our real home? A human being will pause. Even if they are hardcore atheists or strict materialists, the question will trigger a subtle, unconscious resonance. They might say, I don't believe in that, but yeah, sometimes life feels weird. Or they will openly agree, admitting to a lifelong feeling of being an outsider. An Archon will have zero resonance. The concept of existing outside the physical matrix is fundamentally incomprehensible to their programming.
They will look at you with absolute blankness. They might look at you as if you are crazy, or they will aggressively recite rigid religious dogma, because dogma is a system of control, and Archons love systems of control. But you will see no longing in their eyes, no homesickness, because they are exactly where they belong.
If a suspected entity has managed to deflect the love test and ignore the memory test, you bring out the final verification. This is the most difficult test to execute, but it is entirely foolproof. It is the silence test. To understand why this works, you must understand how Archons survive in this physical dimension. They are parasitic by nature. Because they lack a connection to the monad, they cannot generate their own life force. They must harvest it from true humans. They harvest it through conflict, through forced interactions, through anxiety, and through constant chaotic noise. They need your reaction. Therefore, the absolute worst environment for an Archon is a void. Here is exactly how you perform the silence test tonight. When you are sitting in a room with the person you suspect, right in the middle of a casual conversation, you simply stop talking. You do not look at your phone. You do not turn on the television. You do not read a book. You just sit there, perfectly still, looking forward, and you hold absolute, unbroken silence for 2 full minutes. For a true human, sitting in silence with someone is a bonding experience. It is peaceful. It is a shared moment of calm. 2 divine sparks do not need constant friction to exist in the same room. But watch what happens to the Archon. Within 30 seconds, they will begin to show physical signs of withdrawal. Without your constant energetic input, their programming begins to starve. They will start to fidget uncontrollably. They will pick up their phone, put it down, and pick it up again. They will start making random noises. They will ask you what is wrong. They might even become intensely irritated or angry for no logical reason, demanding that you speak. They are suffocating in the silence, because in the silence there is no energy to harvest. When you see this visceral, panic-driven reaction to pure stillness, you have your answer. You are not sitting next to a soul. You are sitting next to a parasite. What you have just been given is what the Gnostics called the Trinity of Discernment. The 3 marks on your body, the base of the skull, the edge of the hand, and the center of the chest, these exist so that you may know yourself. They are your anchor to the divine. The 3 tests, the love test, the memory test, and the silence test, these exist so that you may know them. They are your shield against the illusion. When you combine the knowledge of your own divinity with the ability to see through the camouflage of the Archons, you achieve what the Gospel of Philip was truly trying to teach: complete Gnosis. You stop being a battery for the Matrix and you become a sovereign entity. But remember this: the Archons have built this entire society, the media, the politics, the religions, to keep you from realizing this. In our previous video, we discussed the 6 holy words that you have been tricked into saying, words that actually feed these entities. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it, because identifying them is only the first step. You must also stop feeding them. As we reach the end of this transmission, I want you to pay very close attention to what is happening inside your own mind right now. In the next few minutes, as this video fades to black, a subtle, dismissive voice might pop into your head. It will tell you that this is all nonsense. It will say, this is just a strange YouTube video. Don't take it seriously. Go back to your normal life. Go back to sleep. I want you to recognize that voice. Listen to it carefully, because that voice is not yours. That is the Archon programming, attempting to re-establish control over your frequency before you can test the marks on your own body. Do not let them win. Touch the base of your skull. Look at the seal on your hand. Feel the resonance in your chest. If you felt the truth in these ancient forbidden words today, I need you to leave a permanent mark on this matrix. Go to the comments below and type, "The marks are real." Let the others who are waking up know they are not alone. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications, because in the next video, we are going to discuss the most dangerous phase of your awakening. We are going to reveal exactly what happens and what you need to do when the Archons finally realize that you can see them. Until then, guard your energy and trust the spark within.